I think we are going. I think everything is working. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. It's going to be a little bit of a Lightroom walkthrough. I know a lot of you guys are new to Lightroom and photography, and there's a lot of people that think that Lightroom is this very scary monster just hiding, waiting to jump out of the closet and make your life a living nightmare. But I promise you, that's not the way Lightroom is. I promise you it's easier than you think. And I will show you exactly what my process is as a professional photographer going through a catalog, picking out what I'm going to use, culling it's called, editing those photos and then delivering them to a client. Super easy. It's not complicated. This is a larger shoot that I'm going to have here. So it's going to take a little bit of time. So you can put me on in the background if you want. You can follow along and listen, learn how to edit photos professionally. I'm not going to gatekeep anything. I want more photographers out there, not less. So the more people we have shooting in our craft, the better, right? So let's jump into this and see if we can get some of this edited. All right, I have them importing right now. I'm going to take you to my desktop so you can see what I'm working with here. Make sure my face isn't in the way. Bear with me here. All right. So this is my catalog here. You can see that I've imported the photos already. If you ever do want to see my process exactly from beginning to end, this YouTube channel is going to be the place to go. I am going to teach you everything you need to know about editing photos from beginning to end, including getting them off your camera even. I know there's a lot of people that are really struggling with some of that stuff. So I've already imported these ones. I will be having more videos coming out in the future on this channel that we'll be able to actually go through. All right, let's take a look. So when I pull up photos, I start to go through them one by one on here. So the way I do this is I use left and right on the keyboard with this hand to go back and forth between photos. You see how they're changing. And I just use the pick flags. I do not use the star system. Star system is too complicated. I want my workflow to be simple. I want it to be easy. I don't want to make things more complicated. I don't care if something's rated between 1 and 5. I use the flags on, does this photo look decent enough that I can work with? Yes or no? If it's yes, then I flag it. If it's no, then I don't flag it. I use Lightroom Classic, so the key I use for that shortcut key is P, the key P. And so I'll put my P key underneath my main pointer finger, and then I'll put the U key underneath my ring finger. U is undo. So if I accidentally flag something and I was like, oh, no, I don't want that, I undo it. I don't use don't flag. I don't use the reject flags. There's no need. I can sort everything by the flags that I picked. So that's all I care about is just which ones I pick with the flags. So I start at photo 1. This photo's good. I see there's a couple of them in this series, so I'm going to kind of pick which one lined up. I think this one's probably the best lined up one. P on it and keep going. All right, we got a good smile here. Is she in focus? I think the mom is in focus, even though she might be the subject, so that's not preferable. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Here's good. I think she's in focus on this one. Let's see. Oh, we're still dealing with a little bit of smart preview issues here. So I'm waiting for the smart preview to finish. Okay, I brought her back in. She's not in focus. It's a shame. Here we go. She's in focus on this one. Yeah, there we go. That's an in focus one. I'll pick that one. It's a good one. All right, there's mom coming in too. Got her too. Let me see if I can turn off this detail view here. There's got to be a way. Draw face for you, flag, rating, view modes. Oh, no, that's right there. Why is it showing me this? All right. Oh, turn it off later. Nope, don't need that. All right, so we're back over here. For some reason, I have this information up here. Actually, it might be good to leave that there so you can see what I'm shooting at. Any shot you want to see what I shot at, 160 a second. I shot this one at 2.8, ISO 160. Shot it at 45 millimeters on my 24-70 f2.8 GM2. A very nice lens. Do you need to own a GM2 to shoot good photos? Absolutely not. That was overkill. But I like the lens, so there you go. Good smile there. Let's see. Oops. What am I doing here? What's happening? All right, I can zoom in on her. Let's see. She is in focus. Good. Am I getting a smile? Is she looking at me? Yeah, she's kind of looking at me there. All right. So when you start getting this pixelation on your photos as you're trying to go through, just know that it's because Lightroom is still building smart previews. That's okay. Lightroom's still building smart previews. Not a big deal. We can still we can get over that. We'll still keep working through them. Looking right at me. Is she in focus? That was the question. Come on, smart preview. Yeah. Yeah, she is. No, not in focus. Kind of in focus. That one. Picture a little blue, but that's okay. Let's keep walking through. So I'm looking at subject. Do I have a subject? Is the subject clear? And is it in focus, right? So these two here, I kind of like them walking in like that. I'm more in focus in this one. See if I can crop that one in. Good photo. Look at that smile. The smile right here might be good. Excuse me, I'm getting a phone call. One sec. All right. Okay, let's keep going here. All right, so we got a good smile here on this one. Kind of crooked. Crooked is okay. Crooked isn't a big deal. Let me see. Now you can go ahead and just knock exposure up a little bit over here on this side. Noise is an issue. She's not really looking at me though. Don't like that. I don't really care if she looks at me necessarily as much as I do. It's fun. All right. Okay, can we work with it? That's all I care about. Can we work with it? Noise is a little high in this. What's my ISO at? 2000? It's okay. That's a good one. Handshake right there. The light on his face. I like that. I like that rim light he's got right here. It's good. Let's keep going. Oh, daughter walking in, smiling. Do I get a full smile from her? Kind of like that one. Oh, here, smiling on this one. Let me go back to the other one. Nope, remove that one. I keep going forward. Ah, good smiles there. Yeah, like, oh, even closer, better smiles. Yeah, let's take this one. Undo the last one. Oh, that's a good one. Right there. That one's good. Don't know why she's making that face. This one might end up being good. There we go. That's a good one. Good smiles here too. That's what we want. You want people having expressions, right? You want maximum emotion in all of your pictures. Got her jumping, but she's blurry. Camera couldn't keep up. You get a smile here. Here we go. That's good. Take that one. All right. Well, more of a smile here. I'll do that one. I like this. Like it cleaner. This one's cleaner, right? You don't have the little distraction there on the edge. This one, you have the kid running through. It kind of takes away. I like the negative space we have in this one. You got to really use negative space to your advantage. Is this guy in focus? Yeah, he's in focus. Let's take that one. So we're making coffee, serving coffee. All right. This lady seems like she's yelling for some reason. Take that one. There's a lot of noise in these. What is it? ISO 10,000. Goodness. That's okay. Lightroom has the ability to take that away. That is perfectly okay. Kind of like the bruise sign here, but nothing else about the photo is interesting. This lady's looking at this guy, but she doesn't have a good smile. All right, let's just skip it. I think we can do this. Onto the stage ones. Do a side profile here. What's his face look like? This one might be good. I have all four of them in there. Okay, I got a piano lady here. I got some of her face here. Is this interesting enough? I kind of like the way the piano is positioned and the composition of this photo. Some space down here. I think we can work with this one. We can do something cool with this one. All right, we got the guitarist. Man, he's rocking out. I love the emotion. Oh, here, even better. Almost like the crossed feet. Yeah, I get the full guitar there. Got one of his face too. Nice. All right. Drummer. Drummers are hard to get, especially when they're in cages, glass cages, because you get this reflection here. It's kind of a pain. Also, they always sit the drummers in the dark. It's so dark when the drummers are sitting around doing nothing. So that's okay. Oh, I kind of got a good face shot there. The symbol. Let's see if we can work with it. Let's take it. Oh, I like this one. Look at this. Her expression with the hand out. That's perfect. I like that. Let's take that one. Okay, we got a bunch of hands up. Kind of want her face rotated towards me a little bit. There you go. I think this one's good. I like the cross and the guitar. Kind of all in one shot. Okay, I'm looking for good expressions here now. Is that a good expression or? I don't know. Let's see. Take both of those because I can't decide which one's good. What does he look like here? A better expression, but he's not focused, I don't think. Or is that us using low resolution? Okay. No. This one I like. Look at that smile. Yeah, let's take that one. All right, I got some kids here. Gonna have to take out their names. See if we can use one of these. So now I'm looking at stage and audience, right? I'm trying to give the viewer an idea of the perception, the depth, right, of what's going on. Give them an idea of what the whole event looks like. Called a wide shot. Just good. The hands up too. Let's see if we can work with that one. Handshake right there. Oh, perfect. In focus, smiling. Still at 12,800 ISO, which is okay. Having such an high ISO is what is making the photo look a little fuzzy. Not quite as sharp as it could be. You don't need a whole lot of shots of this guy who's just giving announcements. Let's keep going. Okay, 3200 ISO for stage photos, pretty good. And we're seeing a little bit of the audience. Let's see if we can work with that one. All right, I like the cross shot. All right, but we don't need any more. Like this one. Good looking guy. Keep some of his. Like that one a lot. Okay, let's keep going. We're trying to get a good shot. See the difference between these two? Let's zoom in on his face. Here's something that's important too. Getting a little bit of a glint in the eyes. A little bit of a light glint. See the difference between these two? He's got a little bit of glint in the left eye. Glint in both eyes. And this one, that's something good. You want that in your photos. You want that little glint in the eye because it naturally takes the viewer's eye and makes them look at your subject's eye, which is important because that's what connects them with the picture. So if you can ever get that glint in there, I recommend using it. Like this is a good shot right here. Talking, a little bit of an expression. Here's one from back here. Let's make sure he's actually has his eyes open. I like the through the crowd shots. I like the wider over the head shot. His hand out to the side too. Even wider shot, super wide shot with everybody in there. I love this one. Okay, I think we got enough wide shots now. Just a shot. I want to get a shot of the guy with the Bible because the Bible is kind of sticking out a little bit, light coming down. So it kind of like drew my eye there. Let's play with it. That's another fun one. Actually, I like the second one more. Zoomed in a little bit more. It's not quite in focus. Oh, I like that one. That's good. That's a good one too. Oh, let's take that one instead of this one. Instead of those two. Is he looking right at me? This one. He almost is. Take that one out. Why? This one's darker right here. And then this one is, the exposure is a little higher. I'm seeing a little bit more in the auditorium. Seeing more of the congregation. That's good. That's what you want. Let's keep going. This is down some steps. There's really no reason to have that one. Some good wide angle ones. Are you reading your Bible? Too much pew though. The pew takes up too much of the space of this photo. It makes the just fine. I want to get one of her and her Bible. That one's good. Really shows the Bible off. I like this one and all the negative space. I took a lot of pictures of Bibles here, trying to get the right angle, the right... I think this last one ended up being it because I kind of organized the Bibles. They look the same. This is a good one for the auditorium. More of him from this side. I don't think I need any more of him unless something really stands out. Also, notice how the lights are so much brighter in the back than in the front. That's a lighting issue. Church. A lot of churches have that problem. They've got so much light in the back, but their front, like, stage key lights are always not the greatest. Okay, I got some people doing communion here. I want the person-on-person interaction. I don't want just shots of like single people unless it's like specifically a portrait. I want the interaction between them. There's a good one of her smiling here. Yeah, I think that's it right there. Those ones aren't in focus. We got a baptism here, which is awesome. Closed eyes, okay. Good. Praying. I kind of like doing the little symbol there. The little, thanks. These were a little out of focus. We can work with it. Is he in focus here? Nope, of course not. In focus there? Nope. Yeah, here we go. That's a good one. That's a good one. Right here's a good one. Okay, let's keep going. Focus was hard here. He was moving a lot. There we go. There's a hug one. That's good. What about this? Do we get a good focus one here? No, of course not. Out of all these ones, we couldn't get one focused. Why is that? Look, I'm at 1/150th of a second. That's bad. My fault. It's okay. Still good pictures. Got some good ones. All right. All right, let's get going. We got the band on stage. They all raise their left hands, except for the lady in the back. I like that one for her. Kind of stands out there. Vetted preview. Let's click that off. Okay. All right. Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. Okay, let's see if we got any of the people in the crowds here. I guess she didn't want to smile. That's fine. I got set at 150 for some reason. Didn't even notice. It's bad photography. I don't know why my shutter speed got set to that. Okay, that one worked out. Let's go on. You're 1/50th of a second still. All right, that's okay. It's okay. We work with it. Blast through these. A lot of them are going to be blurry. Okay. What does that teach me? I got to be a little bit more up. Yeah, the composition of this picture isn't great. You know, we just have one subject standing right in the middle. There's nothing else interesting around. I think the long ways one's better. Dad's here. We should have angled him more towards the front door light. It's okay. Again, same problem I was having here. The 1/50th of a second. That one's good. That's good. Okay, now we got some, I like this contrast here, kind of front doors and darkness. Make our subjects more like a silhouette. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, this is the next Sunday. So now we're on to the next actual date of shooting. So now I'm outside. Being outside is nice. You get to increase your ISO and stuff, which is, I mean, decrease your ISO, which is good. Outside. Sorry, dogs. All right. Dogs always in the way. All All right, let's see. Is this a good one? Not in focus. Cool. Cool. 1/125th of a second. That's still a little low. You're going to get some blur with that. But I'm using that to keep the ISO at 800. Notice I'm at 2.8, so I'm already as low as the lens can go, 40 millimeters. So at 2.8, you're going to have a lot of bokeh. I would say that this picture is almost a little too bright. I mean, you look at the histogram, it's okay. It's within range, right? Over here, you can see right here that the light doesn't bleed off the edge too far, which is good. But let's keep going. All right, he's looking at me, smiling. Kind of like that, all right. I like this. The welcome, you're glad you're here. Like that. Lady with flowers. Got some teenagers talking. It's good. We'll keep that one. I kind of like the cross here too. We'll give them a little bit of like B-roll photos, you know, even though the cross is crooked. Notice how the cross is tilting a little bit. Somebody should fix that. Somebody should fix that. All right, I got the lady on the piano here. Oh, here we go. It's a good one. They're all lit up. Got some good ones from here. Actually ended up getting some really good ones from here. Let me see. Try to get some from behind the stage. It wasn't really working out. There's too much distractions on the left and the right. You see how they have their posts holding up their lights on the left, and on the right you got the drummer's cage. Keep him in his cage. So it kind of doesn't make the photo very interesting. No subject. It's just all a mess. We'll come back to the stage though here in a minute. I went outside to catch some of the kids at the cute little girl running around. Like this one, she's looking at the paper. Trying to get some of them walking. These are pretty good long ways ones. Let's see if I got some horizontal shots here. Is this kid in focus? Yeah, he is. There we go. Is that one better than this one? Yeah, see, this one doesn't have the adult in the way. Which one here? So I'm looking at what the angle of the Bellevue basketball kid's face. Trying to get him more looking towards me. Oh, he's out of focus a little bit on this one. More in focus on this one. So we might take that one. Kids running. I like that. That's a good one. Let's see. Are they smiling here? I like that one more. Got his thumb wrapped around his wrist a little bit, so you can see a little bit more of the thumb. You can kind of see what's going on. I like this one too. Please. All right, we got the pastor preaching now. Cut off at his knees, which is a weird spot to cut off. Hands are... is he in focus here? Is he in focus, though? There we go. That's focus. Let's skip these ones. I like this. This is good. Overview of the whole thing. All right, I got a good long shot here. What is he doing, though? Is he looking at something? Oh, he's looking at a hat. That's right. Okay. Trying to get some wide angle ones here. Taking some with him and the cross in it. It's a good one. Good facial expression there. No good facial expression there. Kind of like this, huh? Oh, he looks like a gangster here. Let's take that. we go. Looking right at me. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Okay, got a wide angle one here of him moving the stage. I don't need it. We got some other wide angle ones we're fine with. You can play with some light in this one. Kind of like these. I like the higher angle. I like catching the lights up top. I'm trying to pick which one I want. Probably this one. All right. Let's go to the piano lady. I like her. Don't need those cups in there, though, unfortunately. I think maybe this one's the best one. Let's see. Between these two, heads up a little higher, heads down a little bit here. This one to get more of the piano in it. Pick this one. This one's very dark. You can see on the histogram over here that it's pretty much all in the blacks, which is okay. Let's increase our exposure a little bit. See what happens. Boom, 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 boom. If we bump this up, what are we looking like? What about this one? There we go. See more of him. Bump the exposure up. I get this cool silhouette on him. Yeah, let's work with that one. Everything's super dark. Oh, yeah, I like this one. We'll work on that one. Now I wanted to wait until I got it back around the other way. Okay, so she's singing. I kind of like the angle, though. So for her as a subject, right, the microphone is not covering her mouth, which is good, and her arm's out backwards, taking up more space of the frame. So we kind of got our subjects balanced well here. Her arm being out is balancing out against the guy being on the other side, right? So it's kind of all balanced together, which is nice. Here she's making kind of a weird face. We're not going to use that one. This one's good. This lady's very excited about singing. That's a good one right there. Bam. That's a good one too. Keep that one. And then let's do... Keep this one. Got a little bit of a wider one now. Boom. That's a good one. Like that one. Oh, I like the glint off the guitar right here. Yeah. Good one. Cheering. It's a good one. Looking right at me. Love it. Love it. Trying to get this lady sitting here praying. Benches are kind of obscuring her here. This one's better. We can work with this one even though it's crooked. I tried to take it fast and inconspicuously. Same with this one. Let's try it. Let's see what Lightroom can do. See if we can pull up the darkness. Get something out of this. ISO 4000, 70 millimeter. This lady is smiling. This guy looks like a gangster as well. I love that. All right, let's see if we got the whole room here. Let's get a photo of the whole room. We can balance it out a little bit more. This lady's smiling, laughing. Ooh, this might have been a good one right through the crowd. Let's see. All right, let's take it. Don't know what this lady's doing. No smiles. Got some smiles here. Everything's so dark in these churches. Lady's doing coffee for the kid. She's making a weird face. Can't use that. There you go. She's smiling. Kind of like this one. Kind of a good picture. All right. So I've gone through and I have pressed P. So pick on every single photo I like. So you can see down here, these little flags on here. That means those are all the pictures I like. Those are all the pictures that are workable, pictures that I can get to use. I can see if I like them or not. So this is our first pass. This is called culling. So we went through and we culled our photos first. Now let's get rid of these photos out of the album so we're not having to deal with them. So now I go to the grid view right here. And now I'm going to press the key for all filter based on flag status unflagged. Boom. Rejected photos. Nope, not rejected. Sorry, the middle one. I want every photo that doesn't have a flag on it. It's called unflagged. It's this middle flag right here. So now that they're all selected, I can scroll through. I can see there's no flags on any of these photos, which means those are the ones that I'm not interested in working with. So I'm going to do something very scary here. I'm going to press Control A. I'm going to select all the photos. Then I'm going to press Control Alt Shift Backspace. It's going to move all of these photos to the recycle bin. It's not only going to take them out of Lightroom, but it's also going to take them off my computer and put them in the recycle bin. It's a scary process. It's going to freak you out. Don't worry. What's going to happen is all these photos in this album right now are going to disappear. And you're going to sit here and you're going to look at an empty album and your heart's going to drop. You're going to say, oh no, all of my photos are gone. I've just deleted them all and now they're all in the trash. It's okay. Do not freak out. There's a secret to this. We just got to wait for them to finish deleting right here. So there's two ways you can delete your photos out of albums, right? You can do what I just did, Control Alt Shift Backspace. That's going to delete them out of Lightroom and off your computer. Or you can just press Backspace. That means it's just going to delete them out of Lightroom. It's not going to take them out of your computer. So you don't have to worry about them actually going anywhere. That's one way that you can easily get to understanding how to remove things from Lightroom. I like Control Shift Alt Backspace for my big folders. A lot of stuff that I have. I don't want 889 pictures taking up space on my hard drive, right? Some people are in the camp that you want to keep all your photos, even the ones that you're never going to work with, because you might want to go back through them. You might find some secret good one and stuff. Yes, that might be true for a very important shoots that I'm doing. If I'm doing something else that's really important to me, very creative. Yes, I can go back through and find those creative shots later. So I might not delete all the unpicked photos out of those kind of albums. But out of something like this, I'm just doing quick bam in and out of this album. I'm not going back to it ever. You could delete them off your computer. All right, so what happened, what I just said was going to happen, right? All your photos disappeared. Scary. Oh no, what happened? Lightroom is actually just showing you exactly what you told it to show you. You told it that you wanted to see every photo that doesn't have a flag on it. That was this selection right down here under filters. All you got to do now is just click that flag again to unselect it. And now you'll see all your photos. Boom. They'll all pop back in. All the ones that you picked. Boom, 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 boom. All of them back. All right. So now we have 146 photos. So I only want to deliver to this client around 100. So we might go through here and reject ones that are even worse, you know? But we'll do that later. All right, for now, let's go ahead and group some of these. I have a lot of outdoor photos all grouped together here. Do I have more? The other shoot? Yeah, so then the next day I started here. Yeah, these ones here are outside. These 4. So let's move these up here. Back with the other ones. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of group them. Group them where I need them. It's not letting me move them right now. It's okay. All right, let's see if I can move now. Nope, won't move it. It's so weird how it does this. Okay. No filter. Let's go to the develop tab. If I can move some of these now. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put like photos kind of together. You know, ones that are kind of similar. So that way I can edit them together. Currently selected source does not support custom order. What source am I in? In the actual, okay. There we go. You got to select the actual album over there on your photo album on the left. Okay, so now I'm going to drop these in kind of near where I did the end of the outdoor shots of the other ones. They're all kind of together. The lighting's going to be off a little bit, but that's okay. All right, now we're ready to start going through these. So, to edit photos, we are going to go one by one. As I see photos that are kind of in a certain group or a category that are all similar, taken in the same spot, taken with the same settings, taken with the same lighting, I'll just copy and paste those settings from the first one that I edit onto the other ones, and then I'll adjust from there. But I will be right back. I need to use the bathroom. Coming back. All right. Let's get back into this editing now. All right. Whew. A little chilly, so I could put on a jacket. All right. So first photo. Here's something cool. You can just click auto. See how the how Lightroom likes to do it. All right, now when I edit photos, I'll sometimes use the sliders over here on the right, but I also have this device called a loop deck, right here. Cool little device. Got a bunch of buttons and knobs and dials that are directly correlated, directly linked to the sliders on Lightroom. So sometimes I'll be using this to give me control. So you might not see the things move. That's okay. Where's the page I want? Yeah, there we go. All right. So now I will start adjusting this. All right. Right away, the photo looks a little yellow. Let's go ahead and adjust the temp towards blue just slightly. Don't want to do it too much because I don't want to make their skin look blue. But you'll see that the photo will change. Here's too blue, right? Here's too yellow. I want somewhere in the middle. Just a little bit, give them a little warm glow. You know, it is a yellow room, but I'm looking at skin tone here. All right, another thing, I can already tell there's a lot of noise in this photo, so I might just bump up the noise reduction just a little bit. It's too much, makes their skin look really bad. Somewhere right in here. Good, bam, right about there. If you got a really, like, a lot of noise that you really need to take care of, it's okay. Just hit this denoise button right here, and this will let Lightroom do a full AI pass on your photo to really denoise it. All right, back to basics. Let's see. Contrast, upped it by 6. Contrast looks okay. I might bump up the shadows just a little bit. Just a little bit there. All right. I still think the photo might be a little too yellow. Bump it towards blue just a little bit. There we go. Take down the highlights just a little bit. All right. I think this is about good. Let's do before, after, before, after. Nice. I like it. So my first pass through photos, all I'm doing is I'm correcting color and light exposure, right? Color and exposure. I'm not cropping yet. That'll be my last pass. When I crop and go through my last pass is when I'll do any like final details. I'll take a look at stuff, make sure everything's balanced, everything's consistent. But for now, this first pass, I'm not actually cropping anything. I'm just going through and doing basic editing. All right. This one's a little blue. Let's up the temp just a little bit. I'll warm it up. Look at the tint in the skin. See how she's a little pink? Let's go with tint. Push it a little towards green. See how her skin is balancing out a little bit? That's right there's too green. I'm looking at the tone of the skin right here in the natural. She has some pigmentation in her skin. That's okay. Face is cold. She might just have a little skin sensitivity there. It's okay. I'm looking at the natural color of the skin though. See right in here? Seeing the tints just a little too green. Let's push it towards one more towards magenta. This is the 2 ways that you correct color in your photos. You're going to use 2 sliders. You're going to use the temperature slider and you're going to use the tint slider. Temperature is the difference between yellow and blue. But a lot of people don't know that there's another slider called the tint slider. That's the difference between magenta and green. Between those 2 sliders, you can white balance any photo. Any photo, just with those 2 sliders. You just need to know how to use them properly. If for some reason you can't figure it out and you want to let Photoshop try and figure it out, you can use the white balance selector tool, which is this little eyedropper right here. And then you take it and you put it on something that's a neutral color, like white or gray right there. And it'll kind of balance it for you, what it thinks it should be. So this is a little too yellow, but I can push it towards blue just a little bit. I think we'll start getting a good look here. Yeah, I think right about there. So now I let Lightroom pick what it wants to do with the color. Did a good job actually on this one. Kind of impressed. So here's the color before, here's after. See the massive difference there? Our subject is now brighter, more in the picture. I don't like this lady with her back towards us. I'll crop her out a little bit. We get to the cropping phase, but I love her look here. Now, see, I've adjusted this photo. I might take the exposure up just a little bit on this photo. Just brighten it a little bit more. You can see a little bit more of what's going on. Maybe take the shadows down just a little bit. Two bumps down. All right. So now that I have this photo pretty much exactly how I want it, I'm going to Control C. I'm going to look at everything that's going to copy. You can pick what Lightroom's going to copy right now. Just like Control C or right-clicking and clicking copy on like a Word document. Same thing here. So I'm selecting everything. I wanted to pick all of this stuff except for crop and remove, because those have to do with AI things, and masking. Masking is per photo unless something is on auto, like auto subject detect or something like that. So I have masking off as well, but everything else is perfect. It's usually the default setting here. So I'll click copy. Now I can click on the next photo and I can literally just press Control V. And it's going to paste the same exact settings that I used on that last one onto this one. Now, it's not going to make it perfect, right? Because every photo is different. So you might have a really good settings like on this one. The settings on here look really good. But when we paste it over here, it's like, oh no, something's wrong. Something's different. That's because every photo is taken in a different light, right? It's taken in a different light. The light can move. The color temperature can move. You know, your subject can turn a different way and shadows can be in a different place in a photo. That's okay. It's your job to now make these 2 photos as consistent as possible if they're shot in the same group, right? All these ones that are shot outside, I want them to look the same. That's called called photo consistency. And as a photographer, that's very important. You don't want a bunch of differences between each photo that are shot in a series. You want them to be consistent so that a viewer, when they're going through and they're looking at the photos, their mind's not jumping around to different styles and different colors and different stuff like that. You want your photos consistent. And that's the first step in becoming a professional photographer. It's not actually being able to edit a single photo well. It's about being able to edit multiple photos well and keep them consistent with each other. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to make these two photos consistent. What I noticed right away is that the reason that these two photos aren't consistent is because this one's much brighter than the other one. Look at the histogram on this one. The histogram is very important. It teaches you a lot of lessons. You can see where the light is in each part of the photo. Here on the left represents the darkest parts of the photo, and here on the right represents the brightest parts of the photo. You can see here that there's not a whole lot of data on the bright side of the photo, but there's tons on the dark side, right? But look at this photo. Oh man, that's switched a lot. There's almost no data in the very bottom part, the very darkest part of this photo. But as you push up this direction, there's a lot of data up here. So that's how you know what's going on with your photo. So I know that I just need to probably bring down the exposure in this photo quite a good bit. Okay. And now I probably need to bring down the highlights in this photo too. And you can see the histogram move here. See how now we're getting closer to the same shape between these two photos? It's a little bit closer now, which is good. Can even probably darken this one a little bit more, and I'm going to bump up her exposure. Okay, now these are much closer. Notice how these are much closer and look. Now, our subject in this photo has light hitting their face almost perfectly. You almost couldn't get better light hitting somebody's face than this. You almost have the perfect Rembrandt lighting from the sun here. Man, it's great. This lady, however, is facing me and the sun is behind her. Not her fault. She's just looking at me. She sees a photographer taking pictures. She looks, right? Which is great. It's now my job to fix the lighting. So because she's looking at me, I'm going to have to mask her out and brighten her up. Now, Lightroom has a lot of very powerful masking options. That is a whole lesson in and of itself. Lock into this channel. I will have a video focused on masking only coming out very soon, so you can figure out how to use masking as well. But for now, let's go ahead and just use this. Two ways to mask. You can select people. That's the fast, easy way. Or you can go by object. I can select her. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, there. And now, oh, look at that. It nailed it. Got her walker, got her. Oh, it's perfect. All right. Let's bring up her exposure just a little bit. Oh, a little too much. Anytime you mask out a subject in a photo like this, and you bring up exposure, you have to be very careful. You don't want to bring up the exposure too much. You bring up the exposure too much, it's going to start looking fake. For example, I want her bright. Let me just brighten her up like this. Now the viewer's eye is seeing this, and his brain or her brain is telling them that something's wrong. Something's off here. Why is this subject so much brighter than the background? Right? So you got to do everything very subtly. I mean, this is the #1 rule, especially when you start to brighten people's eyes in photos. Oh man, subtle, subtle, subtle. Do not overdo it. Don't want to make them look like vampires. So this is overdone. So let's reset. If I was going to bring up the exposure in this, I would probably bring it up to right there is about the most we could do. Now, the second thing you want to do that helps balance this out once you bring up exposure is increase the contrast just a little bit for your subject. There we go. Much better. Now she's a little bit more balanced. She's also a little blue compared to the lighting out in the parking lot. So I want to balance her out. So I might actually take the temperature of the lighting on her, make it a little more yellow, just a hair. Probably like that. Now notice that the yellow right here on the side of her face is starting to match the yellow out here. So here's what it was before. Here's what it is now. Before, now. All right, let's zoom out. All right, now, how are these two photos looking? There we go. We got a nice warm yellow glow. Lady looks great. I might even add more contrast to her. think that's good. Yeah. All right, now these two photos are balanced, right? Now let's do this photo again. We have the same lady doing the same thing. Let's just Control-C this one. Oh, we can't be on mask. Here's a big thing I run into all the time. I do this all the time like an idiot. If you're on the masking view right here and you Control-C, it's going to think you want to copy just the masking properties. You got to come back over here, and now you got to hit Control-C, and I'll bring this up. Now, I actually do want to copy the masking because these two photos are almost identical. Let's paste it and see what happens. All right, kind of nailed it. Not gonna lie, kind of nailed it. I'm okay with it. She might be a little too bright on the exposure side. Bring her down just a little bit there. Yeah, all right, I think that's okay. There's a little, you can almost see a little bit of, like something's off right around the silhouette of her head into the cars here. Just the lighting looks slightly off, but I don't think anyone else will notice. It'll be our little secret, okay? Perfect. Let's keep going. All right, now, this photo is very similar to this photo, almost taking the same exact spot, right? So I'm going to go here, Control-C. I don't have masking selected now because I didn't mask anything on this. I don't want to mask anything. Control-V. Boom. Done. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Perfect. We're saving ourselves so much time. Want to keep the consistency. Let's keep the speed going. Control-V here. A little too bright. Let's lighten that down. Let's take down the highlights just a little bit. Let's push it a little bit more towards yellow. Want to keep that yellow glow in it. Want to keep a little bit of warmth in these photos. Perfect. Control-V. Boom. Look at that. A little too bright. Let's darken this a little bit. Are they too blurry? Yeah, they're too blurry. Yeah. Let's delete this one. You can just select it and press backspace. It's gone. All right. Indoor photos. All right. Let's start with an auto. Okay. I'm okay with it. Let's up the contrast just a little bit. Keep that contrast a little high here. A lot of noise in here. Let's go ahead and denoise. Let's let Lightroom denoise this photo. There's a lot in here. I don't think the manual noise reduction is going to work, so I'm going to let Lightroom do its thing. It's very good at what it does. Trust me. Oh, man, look at that. All right, now, here's the number one lesson when it comes to denoising photos. If you overdo it, you're going to make their skin look like putty. You don't want to do that. If you look at this photo after it's been denoised, look at her skin. It looks like putty. Little putty. Now, if I zoom out, you might not be able to notice, which is fine. You could get away with it, but we are professional photographers, right? We're not just bums off the street. So we want to get it right. So I look at the amount of noise, amount of denoise that was added to this. I'm going to bring it down just a hair. Bring it down just a little bit until I see that grain come back in right around the creases of her face. Here's where it was at. Little too much. I want to bring back in a little bit of the grain around the creases of her face. Boom. Right around there. Now, this photo's denoised, and now her skin, you and I know secretly deep down inside that if somebody zooms in on this, zoom, enhance, her face is going to look like putty, which is good, which is what we want. We don't want putty face. Overall, pretty good photo. A little on the bland side, but that's okay. We have our subject here. You know what? Let's mask out. Let's mask out and darken everything around her a little bit. So I want a brush tool. So I believe that's going to be Shift B brush. No, okay. It's wrong. Use different Lightroom settings all the time. All right, let's feather this out a little bit. Let's keep the size nice and big. Let's go ahead and brush all this, especially these corners and tops a lot. Let's go ahead and start bringing down the exposure. Oh, too much. Just a couple. Remember, everything's got to be real subtle. I only brought this down 0.09. That's just enough to start bringing the eye's attention towards the subject and not so much on the other bright parts of the photo. Now, we can get away with this much better in this photo because this photo almost has a lot of negative space, right? This whole wall here is negative space. The viewer's eye doesn't go towards it. Over here, the viewer's eye might start to tract over here because it's just so bright and the doors are here. But everything is so bland. There's nothing else really in focus. So this one is almost negative space as well. So that brings our attention kind of in on her, which is great. So I think this one's passable. This one's passable. All right, let's Control C on this. Don't want masking. Don't want to do any of that. Let's go over here. This one's going to be difficult. This one's going to be more difficult. We're just going to paste these settings on there. We're going to see how it looks, and we're going to manually adjust. AI settings might take some time. Okay, so it did apply the denoise settings, which is okay, because I want to see if there's any noise on her face. Okay, there's no noise in here. It looks good. I kind of like the lighting. She is blue. There's a lot of blue lighting coming in from outside, and then there's a lot of yellow lighting inside. So what I might do, I know the lighting is coming from outside, so it's coming from the right to the left onto our subject. From the right to the left. That's where the light's blasting in. We can counter that. We are photographers, and when we get good at editing, what we're actually doing is we're shaping light. And when we shape light, we are telling light how it should look in this photo to give our vision of creativity onto this photo, right? Onto the subject. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shape light here. I'm going to use a mask. I'm going to use a linear gradient. It's M on your keyboard if you use Lightroom Classic. And I'm going to do a linear gradient straight across this and onto my subject. Now, I'm going to do it in the exact direction the light is coming from. So I know it's coming from this direction. Just like that. Now, I'm going to do something really cool here. I'm going to add a luminance range mask where I'm going to select just the brightest part. I'm going to intersect it. Just the highlights. Kind of like that. Let me delete this one actually. I want to intersect mask with. Okay, okay, add linear gradient, boom. Just like that, boom. Intersect mask with luminance range. Now I want to make sure that I'm getting just the light on her face and the light from outside. So now you can see that the mask is selecting where light is coming in from outside and hitting her. Right now I can do this magic thing and I'm going to make the temp more yellow. See how it's actually like making her face a little bit. Actually, it might just keep it on her, to be honest with you. Okay, now let's go ahead and subtract with brush. And I'm going to delete all of this. Don't need her. Let's go ahead and reduce the feather on this. Get over here, get the lights up here. I don't need to affect those. I kind of just want to affect the light on her face. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Yeah, look at that. Now, her face has a little bit more of a warm glow. Less blue light. Let's take a look at before. After. Before. After. Before. After. Pretty good. Pretty good. I like that. All right. So now she kind of glows with a little bit more of a warmth instead of that ugly blue light that's coming in and blasting everything. So we got that adjusted now. Perfect. On to the next. Kind of the same. These photos are taken from almost the same spot. So let's go ahead and copy and paste. I didn't want masking. Noise. Yeah, we're going to use the same denoise. We're going to let that go in there too. All right. It's been denoised. It's been brightened up. I can already tell the contrast is a little too low in this. I might darken it just a little bit. That'll bring down the highlights a little bit. A lot bit. Highlights are pretty much all the way down. Can't go any lower. I'm already pulled over. I can't pull over anymore. Increase the contrast just a little bit. Because I really want to highlight the that light on his arm and sleeve. Might bring down the shadows. Go. Kind of like that. I kind of like that contrast, that light along his face and sleeves. Might now just increase the exposure a little bit more. Bring down the whites. There we go. Now I have a lot of light bloom on here because of that lens filter I use. I love that everyday filter from PolarPro. It's in my description if you want to see the exact name of it. I might eventually put links in there. All right, we're back outside again. What are we doing for outside? We're going and taking the same exact settings we used from our other photo, minus the mask, and we're going to apply it. We're saving ourselves time. Look at that. This photo's almost done. It's crazy. Let's up the shadows a little bit so we can see them a little bit more. Let's increase the contrast just slightly. There we go. Look at that. That photo is almost perfect. Bam. Let's do it again. Let's copy this one. Copy. Paste. Boom. A little too washed out. Let's increase the contrast. Just a little bit. Boom. Just like that. All right. Do the same thing. Next one. Oh, that's perfect. Something's still wrong with this one. Let's bring down the exposure here. There we go. I think his face is going to have to stay a little bit dark unless we want to mask him out and up the shadows. I don't want to do that one for this. Okay, this one needs to go a little bit brighter. A little bit more contrast. Go. This one, a little bit more contrast. All right, there we go. All right, where is this one taken? Oh, from this angle right here. Let's go ahead and copy and paste, baby. See how we're starting to save ourselves time? Look at that. Look at that. You don't have to reinvent the wheel over and over again. You can copy and paste settings. It saves you so much time. I like the photo, but it's a little out of focus. Let's sharpen just a little bit. So let's go to details. Let's go to sharpening. Now, you can just crank the sharpening slider and sharpen. Everyone does that. It looks dumb. Don't do that. Trick. Pro tip on sharpening. Every single time you sharpen. I don't want to sharpen everything in this photo. I don't need to sharpen back here, the background. I don't need to sharpen the foreground up here, this blurry, the bokeh, all that stuff. All I'm interested in sharpening is the edges of whatever my subject is. I just need to sharpen the edges. I don't need to sharpen everything. It makes it look way over processed. So what you do is right here on where it says masking, I'm going to go ahead and press Alt and hold it. And now I'm going to click the masking slider. I'm going to pull it up. And you see what it did? It started completely white. Anything that's white is what sharpening is going to touch. Anything that's white. Okay. As I pull the slider to the right, oh, look at that. Now we're starting to focus in on what's going to get sharpened. Look, right about here, I'm getting the edges of the face, edges of the sleeves. I'm happy right about here. I'm not sharpening everything in this photo. I'm just sharpening the edges of this lady's face. That's all I need. And now I can let go. Boom. Now that's what's going to sharpen. So now when I zoom in on her face and I start to sharpen, you can see sharpens just the places that I want to sharpen. You can see around the edges of her glasses here how it starts to get pixelated. That's too much, right? That makes it, if you pull it all the way to the right, it's all pixelated. You just want a tiny bit. Right when it starts to pixelate is right where you want to sharpen to. Boom. Now this photo is a little bit sharper. We've kind of offset our camera's inability to lock focus, probably because this was taken at 1/160th of a second. And she was probably moving when I took it, but now it's fixed. The photo is still a little blue. Let's add a little bit of warmth into it. There we go. Right about there. That's good. All right. We already have the settings copied that we wanted. This is perfect. Look at her. She's all smiling. She's a little out of focus. We might have to do the sharpening trick again. Mask. Hold Alt. Zoom this way. Sharpen up just a little bit. Right about there. Perfect. On to the next. On to the next. This is taken from the angle of this lady. You always go back to her. Always go back to her and use her. Use her settings. Control V. Boom. Look at that. Probably a little too dark. Let's brighten it just a little bit. Brighten the shadows just a little. Okay. Add a little bit more contrast now. There we go. There we go. That's better. Look at her face. She's so happy. I love that. All right. We are through the first 15 of 145. So now we're going to speed this up a little bit. Okay. I'm going to start showing you my speed up. So I clicked over here, paste. Good. Too bright. Bring it down. Right about there. A little blurry. Why is she so blurry? It's okay. Do I have sharpening in here? Yes, I do. You can tell because there's an eyeball here. Okay, we'll leave it on. Same thing. Keep going. No point in taking too long to do this. Highlights in this are way too strong. Pull those right down. All right. Indoor shot. This is why I said you should like group your photos together so you don't have to keep going back and forth trying to figure this out. Okay, where's the door picture taken right here? Let's go back to her. Let's take that one. A little too magenta on this one. Let's take this tint. Oh, nope. Never mind. Disregard what I said. All right. Now we can paste it on here. Okay, this is definitely a little too yellow. Blue this. Let's bring this temperature towards this way. Let's up the exposure on this. You can actually see her like that. Still too yellow. Now, what I'm doing is I'm looking at the light color on our subjects, which is going to in turn make the outside light really blue. Right? So this is the problem with shooting in multiple light settings. When you shoot with two different lights impacting your photo that are different colors, different brightnesses, it's going to be hard, right? That's why as photographers, if we can control the lighting, that's even better. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to control the sun, right? A little bit out of my pay grade. So that sun outside is shining one temperature of light through the clouds, which is making it look blue outside, whereas the light inside is really yellow. So now I have to pick, I have to balance. Like, do I want my subjects to look right, or do I want outside to look right? It's always going to be the subjects. You want your subjects to look right. Screw the outside. If you really want to work hard and fix the outside separate from your subjects, you can try that. It is possible in Lightroom. You can mask out all four of these people and deal with only the light in the background. I'm not doing that. This right here looks perfect. I corrected the light color on our subjects. Our subjects look good. There's a little bit of yellow on them from the light, as you can tell, the skin tone up here. But otherwise, the rest of the skin looks really good. Looks really balanced. Top of her hair looks balanced. The silhouette on her face. I actually really like this. I like that. I kind of like the way. I wish this door wasn't here. I wish these people in door wasn't here. But whatever. You could get rid of it, but I'm not doing that. All right, back outside again. Of course. Let's go ahead and white balance this ourselves. Let's white balance against this. Nope, maybe that's going to make that really green. But the color is kind of correct. If you look at it, his skin. You always want to be color correcting your photos for the skin. The skin here is correct. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of creative style here. I am going to warm it up a little bit. because that's my style. A little bit on the warm side. Look at that. So now it's a little warmer. A little bit of warmth to this photo. It's a completely different day than this day, right? Remember, this day was super sunny, bright outside. Now the sun's behind the clouds. So the photo's a little different. It's going to be different. Don't try and get crazy. I'm going to mask out this side. Add some, we'll bring down the exposure a little bit. Good. Let me get my dogs. They're barking right now. These are my two giant dogs. Sit. Here. Sit. 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 Good. Great. Two pups. They're huge. Huge dogs. Outside barking and everything. It's okay. All right, let's keep going. All right. So, okay. This photo's good. I think we're getting there. Add a little bit of contrast to this. Okay. I might bring up the highlights just a little bit. No, that's too much. I won't do that. Kind of like this as it is now. Let's see. Let's push the warmth a little bit. It's gonna make when you add yellow in, you're gonna make the greens pop more, right? You want to be careful you're not affecting his skin too much. That's too much. All right, right about there, I think's good. Yeah, do I want to desaturate a little bit? Yeah, like -5. Would probably be good. All right, Control C on this. Copy this to this one. Yeah, look at that. Perfect. Okay, this one was taken too bright, right? The highlights especially are too bright on this. Let's bring those highlights down. There we go. Add a little bit more contrast to this one. Probably like 20. The blacks are a little too blown out. Let's see. Blacks up just a little bit, shadows up just a little bit. Just until you can barely see a little bit of their jackets here and they don't look like they're just blasted into oblivion. All right. So these three photos are consistent. They look consistent. Actually, this one might be a little too warm. Bump the temp down just a little bit. Just a couple notches. There we go. Now that looks more consistent, right? The colors look the same. That's what you want. As a photographer, you want consistency in your photos. All right, now we're moving on to the inside. This one's almost perfect. Let's be honest. Let's auto this one. Oh, now let's use this and let's pick white here. It's going to make it bluer. Yeah, there we go. I mean, I kind of like the yellowish look. Let's go ahead and push the temp a little bit more yellow again. Because they are inside. They're under yellow light. If yellow's yellow, yellow's yellow. Like, there's no need to... Okay, the highlights are way too up. The shadows are a little too high, I think. Right in there. Okay, so I can bring the whites down and bring the exposure up just a little bit. There we go. That looks a little bit... Now we're getting more balanced. I'm going to take this contrast from 6. Now what I do is sometimes I'll just pull the sliders left and right. I'll find what looks wrong. That looks wrong. That looks wrong, right? And then I'm going to start narrowing them down inside to right about where I think's perfect. Right about +13 ends up being perfect. All right, there's a lot of noise in this photo. Let's go ahead and get some of this noise out. Remember, too much, that's putty. That's none. You go till you find putty, and then you bring it back down till there's a little bit of grain back in the photo. There you go. Actually, doesn't look like putty. Let me bring it down just a little bit more. All right. Looks pretty good. I like that. All right, this one's taken in a completely different angle, completely different area, different lights. So I'm not going to copy and paste my settings from this one to this one. I am going to let Lightroom give it a shot first. Go ahead, Lightroom, give it a shot. All right, this photo looks yellow and it looks very bland, very blah. No contrast, there's no anything. I like that he's the subject though. Let's go ahead and correct. This is going to blue it up a little bit. Okay, now it's much bluer. I can't do anything while I'm looking at the amount of noise in the photo. Let's just denoise it now. Denoise it now so I don't have to try and figure that out later. All right. Now let's look at... I kind of like where he's at. Kind of like the contrast on him. Looks good. I think I just need to straighten it and mask him in. Sometimes I will crop a photo. Before I've done anything else. I mean, before I get to the cropping stage, just because I want to see how it's going to look in the final image. So here's a general rule of thumb. When placing people's eyes in a photo, if you can, place it on this top line, this top thirds line right here, no matter how far or how close they are from the image. Just place it right here on this top thirds line. Okay. There you go. You'll thank me later. All right. Now we're getting closer to something here. Is he straight? Can't tell. Can you guys tell me if he's straight? I think he's straight. Let's hit crop again. Okay. Let's look. Right about there straight. I also think because this was taken at well, it's taken at 70 millimeters. We can also do effects. I'm sorry, lens corrections. Enable profile corrections. Boom. That'll straighten him out a little bit too. Kind of corrects the angle of the glass on the lens. It does distort outside on the photo a little bit. So enable profile corrections will correct that little bit of distortion. Doesn't matter a whole lot with longer focal lengths. 70 millimeters is, you know, you're going towards the longer lengths now on that. But on like a 11 millimeter, 15 millimeter, 24 millimeter, enabling profile correction is going to make a much bigger difference. Some people like that look. Some people don't. I know what he's going to do. He's going to bring that bone right back over here. Chew it right underneath me. All right. All right. Photo still looks a little bland. Let's bring down the shadows. Up there. There we go. Now this has a little bit more of a pop to it. Let's go ahead and mask out the left side with a linear mask. Let's bring down the exposure. Let's bring down the highlights. Shadows just a little bit. Now you see how the light's coming from up here? I'm going to shape this light. Let's shape it ourselves. Now let's do a new mask. Let's do a radial gradient. I'm going to blast it this way. From here. See how it's coming from up here? There we go. I want to increase the highlights. Increase the temp. Make it look almost like a little glow. Look at that. See how we're shaping light now? We're really making it look like this light is shining on him and making our subject pop more, right? That's what we want. Everything you do is about shaping light to bring the viewer's eye to where you want it to go. There it is. Let's look at the before, after, before, after. Dramatic difference. Insane difference. That looks much better. Now let's copy these settings. No masking is selected. Good. Okay. Let's go here. Whenever it does this, that means something is like being auto applied. All right. This is decent photo. Let's bring. There's a lot of blue in this photo. There we go. Just a little bit more yellow here. All right, this photo is clearly not straight either. Drive me crazy. And now when I come back to crop, I'll crop all the stuff out of the sides and edges and stuff. But looks good now. Looks good now. All right, on the next one. All right, we're inside in the coffee area. Let's auto this. No, let's just paste the settings. Let's keep our consistency going, and I'll adjust for each lighting session where we need to correct. This looks good, actually. Looks not too putty, right? No, okay. There's some wrinkles in his skin. You can tell the auto AI denoise got a little confused right here on the bottom of the fingers. That's fine. This actually looks good. I think that's good. Let's bring the green back into this. Ooh, what am I doing? Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Let's paste on here. These are all generally taken in the same room. Lighting obviously changes. Every light bulb's different. I don't like that. Let's auto this. All right. Auto. Give it a little bit more contrast, and it looks like it did nothing else. Cool. All right. So for the picture, let's warm it just a little bit. There we go. Warm glow on them. I mean, the highlights, the sun is blasting and hitting this kid, so there's not a whole lot we're going to be able to do with that. We can bring them down just a little bit. Not blasting so much. But you can tell right here that where there's bright light like this, there's no detail left. You can't get this detail back. If I press this, clip it for me. It's a way to show the highlight clipping, but yeah, there's no detail left in here. So you can't fight that. Can't beat it. You can just try and hide it as much as you can, or you just embrace it. Just embrace the look, make a cool photography edit style out of this. This needs to be cropped in and straightened a little bit, but I'll come back and do that. All right, we're finally on to stage photos. A lot of people love stage photo editing. They don't know how to do it. Here's the trick to stage photo editing, guys. Stage photo editing, the light is there. The light is very strong. There's very bright lights and very dark shadows. Listen, just embrace it. Where there's darkness, let there be darkness. You don't need to crank up the shadows so you can see the back wall of a stage. The darkness is there for a reason. The people who design the stage and the lighting want to make their subjects pop. You just got to roll with it. You want to accentuate the good things and get rid of the bad things, right? So a lot of people try and crank the shadows too much in stage photography, and they end up making it look crap. Like this. When I hit auto on Lightroom, it sees a photo. Lightroom doesn't actually see the subjects in your photo and see it like we see it. All Lightroom sees is this histogram. And so it tries to correct, right? So what it did is it saw that there was a whole bunch of shadow. And it's like, wait a second, I want this photo balanced. I want the shadows brought up so you can see the detail in the shadows. And I want the highlights brought down so that the highlights don't blow out detail and the brightest parts of the photo. And that's what it did. It did its job exactly like it wanted to, which quite frankly sucks, right? So this is why I don't auto use any stage photos, because Lightroom honestly is just not there. It doesn't understand what a stage is. And so then it screws it up. So Control Z, let's bring this back here. Let's go up and look at one of my LUTs that I have here. Yeah, my filter, my user lets excuse me, presets. Lets are for video presets. Maybe one day I'll release these to you guys. So this is a good one. I like this Church Stage 2 preset here. So what this does is it fights the blue a little bit. I can tell purple right now is going to be an issue. Why is that like that? Okay, because that is actually purple. All right, so that is what it is. A lot of purple on here, a lot of purple in this photo. There's purple light coming from back behind. Nothing you can do about it. There's the original photo. Here's our edited, original, edited. I'm actually going to bring down the shadows a lot. Now I'm going to bring up this exposure. Boom. Right about there. All right, what I'm doing is I'm looking at his skin, right? I want to make sure that in the highlights and the midtones of his skin, that his skin actually looks like skin. There's nothing weird going on here. We don't have any weird, like, his skin might look like a little magenta or green. He might look sickly. He might not look right. I don't want that to happen, right? I want skin where there is natural light on the skin. I want it to look like skin, right? Now, if there's a purple light blasting onto his skin, as you can tell, there's a purple rim light somewhere that's blasting underneath his chin here. It's kind of hitting the shadows a little bit. There's purple light in the shadows because there's giant purple light behind him that's reflecting off a bunch of different stuff. So that's okay. That's natural. I can't do anything about this purple light on his ear. The purple light's the purple light. That you can't beat it, right? The way the stage is set up. Your job as a photographer is to make it look better. Really accentuate the things that need to be accentuated. So I think the highlights need to be brought up in here. I need him to glow a little bit more. Their key light is a little weak. So I'm going to have, I know that on every single one of their stage photos, I'm going to have to up the highlights somehow. So other than that, now we got a lot of purple in here, but that's kind of how it looks, right? I have vibrance +2, saturation -2. I think I might need to go to the color mixer here. I turn green yellow. Now, mind you, this preset is for a stage somewhere else, a different stage. They have different lighting, different all that stuff. So I might bring blue back in just a little bit. Might bring the purple down. There we go. I don't need quite so much purple in their photos. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Kind of liking this look. Might even bring shadows down a little bit more. Yeah, right about there is good. All right, now we have the first photo done. Let's take it, start applying it to all of them, see if it does a good job. A little too bright. Let's bring down the exposure on this. There we go. Original, edited, original, edited, original, edited. So you can tell that we're bringing up the light in here, the exposure. It's reflecting off the floor a lot. A lot of purple lights. But that's what they want. That's how their stage is set up. Not much you can do about that. The most important thing is that the skin looks like skin. I don't have anything weird going on, right? Your skin looks like skin. Perfect. All right, on the next one. I kind of like that look. I'm thinking that we got some weird purple stuff going on here. So let's go back to our color mixer. Let's adjust. Okay, that green hue doesn't really matter. There's no green in this photo. Saturation, the purple. Yeah, I can tell the purple saturation is affecting that. The blue saturation. Yeah, it's kind of right where we wanted it. Yeah, see there's some blown out highlights here. Let's zoom out. Let's see. There. just so much purple. Yeah, it's because the photo is blue. All right, let's copy these settings for a second. Now let's auto this photo. Let's bring down the shadows. This is how Lightroom kind of seeing the photo. Huh. Don't like it. Control V, paste ours on there. Kind of balances out the yellow a little bit. All right, let's might bring back in some of this. Bring back in some of the saturation of these. Okay, let's look at his skin. Dead. Looks like a zombie. Looks better. What about here? Not too much. My look for stage photos is a little desaturated. Just slightly. So I might I'll bring the saturation up to the point that his skin looks perfect and then just down just a little bit. Maybe 14. All right, I think right about there. Same with this one, 14. Okay. All right, now it doesn't look like a zombie. Okay, let's copy this one. All right, let's move on to our guitarist. Boom. I'm gonna bring it up. Yeah, see the light hits that, just blasts it out. So we're going to up and down the exposure here. You're going to see where that lands. A lot of purple light up on his hair. That's where the highlights want to be, right there. But then we'd have to up the exposure more to balance it. Yeah, see, the highlights are just so blown out. It's just what it is. Let's reset. Okay, let's Control V on this. All right, let's look at his skin here. All right, his skin is where natural light is hitting it. It looks good. These are difficult photos. There's so much purple light in here. It is what it is. Not much you can do about it. Let's take a look at what other presets would look like. Yeah, see? I kind of like this. This kind of evens out the lighting. This one here. What's it doing? Let's select this one. Okay, so it's popping up the mid tone curve. Not doing anything else of those. Okay. Saturation of blue and purple come down. That's it. Yeah. Brings down the shadows, highlights. Kind of like it. To use this one. Like it. Good job. Good job, Lightroom. All right. Sometimes you play around, you know? Find what works. Find what doesn't work. Use it. This photo just isn't going to work. Let's just remove that one. Just not going to work. Now, see, now the same preset does not work on here. So let's go back and grab our preset from our other one. There we go. This needs some serious luminance fixing. Denoise it. Yeah, that denoise looks good. Yeah, it looks really good, actually. Good job, denoise. All right, let's keep going. Da-na-na. I think the shadows might be a little too high. Again, let the darkness be the darkness, you know? The purple, man. There's just so much purple. Oops. Didn't mean to close that out. Look at all the purple. Can we maybe desaturate the purple a little more? See, if you do that, though, you start screwing up stuff. You got to be careful with desaturating stuff. Just is what it is. You can't fight the lighting they have, you know? What about the... about this one? Can I use this setting on this one? Nice. Kind of like that look. Okay, let's denoise this. I like a little bit of the noise, though. I'm not going to denoise this a whole lot. I kind of like the grain. Okay, it did leave some of the grain. Okay, good. All right. Let me note those down. Good. All right, let's go back to our regular stage photos. So, Control C. Make sure we have the right. All right. Back to this color mixer and this purple. Okay, so that evened out the purple a little bit. Turn it a little bit more magenta. Just drag all the purple magenta out of it. Yeah, nothing looks good. Okay, let's look at his face here. Let's play with his purple and magenta a little bit. Man, this stuff is... lighting is... So you take out too much, his face looks dead. Right? Don't want that. Add blue back in. I think blue is really a huge problem here. check it against this one. We can do a comparison. Okay, I'm looking at the purple on her, the purple here, the purple on him. Yeah. Okay, it's balanced. Right? All right. That's good. All right, back to single photo. Okay, let's apply the... Good. I like that one. I like that a lot. You did a good job. All right, let's keep blasting through these. Another one here. Got a good smile here. Yeah. Good. See, the colors are clashing a little bit though. They don't know what to do here. See if I reset these. That's what it looks like. I can just paste the settings back on here again. There we go. It's good. All right. Now we're back inside. All right, and I have 144 of these to do. So I'm going to save you guys. Actually, you know what? What time is it? 1:20? I got nothing else to do. No. Let's keep going. All right, so do we have some indoor ones that we've done already? It's the key, right? We do. Are there any indoor ones that we've done already that are kind of in the same lighting? I think maybe this one might have been close. Let's Control-C this. We're not selecting any of the masking. We're going to go back to this kid here. Control-V. Let's see how it does. It's all right. We're going to raise the exposure on this. You want kids' photos. You want nice, bright, happy. Boom. That looks good, man. Look at that. Right there. Control-C. Copy. Go. Let's go. Let's do it. Of course. We then move back inside. To the stage. Of course. All right, let me grab one of those. Copy that. Throw it on here. See that? We're just going back, copy and pasting stuff that we've already done. If you've already done the work, don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. Bring down the highlights. Man, there's some weird color stuff going on here. I don't know what's happening with this photo. A lot of weird color stuff going on. Let's just bring down the saturation on this one. Is this thing denoised? Yeah. Yeah, it is. She's got some weird stuff going on here. Yeah, you see that? Okay, so now denoise I'm going to play with, look in the shadows until some of that's just barely gone. It's about good enough. All right, let's do a... That's good. I think saturation's good. I'm going to desaturate just a little bit. There we go. I think that looks better. I think the saturation was throwing things off. Sometimes you got to desaturate a photo a little bit. Sometimes it just, the edits just pick up too much color. It's too nasty. All right. So this is in the auditorium. I have an auditorium preset right here. Kind of like the golden look though. So out of this. Oof. Oh, it's horrible. Let's just bring up the exposure of this just a little bit. Bring down the saturation just a little bit. Let's bring up the contrast. It's like 4 or 5, not too much. There's a lot of contrast in this photo already because there's a really bright light above and there's a lot of dark shadows below. So there's already a lot of contrast. And then gonna add a little bit of manual noise reduction to this. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. So the focus right here is the hands, right? Excuse me. Sorry about that. Yeah, the focus right here is the hands, right? So if I can get the focus on these hands, let's crop it, right? You want those hands in the middle? See those faces? Maybe even get this up and down a little bit better. Oops. That way. Boom. Look at that. Raise up the blacks just a little bit. Let's go ahead and keep the focus there. The whole photo looks a little... needs to be sharpened, I think, just a little bit. No, sharpening's already been done. Let's check. Not too much. 42. Yeah, that's okay. All right. Now, same exact photo. Let's just copy it over. Paste on the same exact settings. There's a lot of purple in this photo. Let's go to color mixer, saturation, purple. Turn it down just a little bit. Turn down the saturation of the magenta a little bit too. Not too strong, but just enough. And there's good. All right. Same thing with this one. Purple. So what I'm looking at is everywhere there's purple. Listen, you can see right here. If you bring down the saturation of the purple too much, it starts doing this weird color thing. You don't want to do that. If you're bringing down saturation, you can only bring it down so much. You can only bring it down so much, right? Light is light. Don't fight it. Morph it. Don't fight it. Morph it. Right? Let's look at her face now for the magenta. Her face has a lot of magenta in it. Yeah, not fighting it. Just morphing it. Exposure of the whole picture. Nah. Looks bad. This is a good one. I like this one a lot. I feel like we can auto that one. Let's go ahead and reduce the noise. Manually, we don't have to reduce a whole lot of noise. Looks good. Stage photos. We've been here. We've done this. Take one of our base ones. Looking good. Let's just keep copying and pasting these settings. All right. Now we're getting to the big man himself. Make sure these ones look good. Okay, let's get the highlights up a little bit. There we go. Looks good. Pasting the settings on here. Okay, let's see what the photo looked like originally. Now. Originally. Now. See? Good difference. Good subtle difference. This one will be a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, these are looking good. All right. So we got the stage ones done. Well, I mean, there's more stage ones, obviously. But now we're into the auditorium again. Let me see if any of these will work. Yeah, this one right here will work. My auditorium one. Don't want to raise the whole thing. I just want to raise the highlights, I think. I want the Bible to pop. Even crank the shadows down. Really just make that Bible pop. You know? Looks good. Is there... Yeah, there's noise reduction in here. I think it might need a little bit more yellow. What about there? I think it's good. Perfect. Now I want to do this to this one right here too, because this photo is almost the exact same. Boom, look at that. Yeah, we kept our photos consistent, right? They look similar. Good. All right. Oh, even this one. Oh, that's cool. Let's bring down the highlights on this one. I want to be able to see the words in this book, really. Go. It's cool. I'll probably mask this out, right? I want to draw the viewer's eye to the Bible. I'm going to crank the shadows down here. Also going to do the same thing. Add a linear gradient up from up here. Look at that. It really brings the eye towards this, right? This light coming off these pews will lead your eye right to this guy's Bible. Really good. Maybe even another mask from this side. Highlights down. Yeah. Just like that. See, we're shaping light. See how we're shaping the light to really like focus in on this guy. That's our job. It's our job as photographers. Shape that light. All right, let's go back and grab this one. Oh, nope. See, I'm on the masking setting. I got to go over here and I got to click the regular developer tab in order to copy the settings, right? All right, we're back on the stage again. It's fun jumping back and forth. This is just kind of what it is. Jump back and forth, jump back and forth, jump back and forth. My eyes are going to need a break soon. Okay, so the light here is very white. Thinking about maybe pulling a little yellow. Get a little bit of yellow tint on his skin. These next ones. See, but now I'm playing with consistency, right? If I change it there, I'm going to have to change it everywhere. See? So I might want to go back here and change a couple of these too. Get a little bit more yellow on his skin just to give his skin a little bit more of a pop. Consistency. Consistency is key. You want to do it to all of them. Do it to one, do it at all. I like actually adding a little bit of yellow here because what it's doing is it's making his face stand out from the rest of the photo. The exposure might come up on this one. There we go. A little too dark on the other ones. My eyes are going to need a break soon. I don't know if I can keep looking. All right, let's take a look at this one. This one's going to be the good one. Oh, a little too dark. $32.03 3503. $35.03 looks good. Yeah, I think so. $35.03. All right. With that stage one, I think we are ready to give this live stream a little pause. I think I've given you guys a good insight on how to edit photos from a couple different avenues, very drastically different settings, different light areas, different environments, from outside to inside to close-ups to wide angles to stage photography, which is very difficult, as you can tell from me having to manage colors and individual colors using the color mixer. So hopefully this gave you guys some insight on how to use Lightroom a little bit easier, so that you're not falling apart every single time you open it. Lightroom is not the big, bad, scary monster in your closet anymore. I promise you, it gets a lot easier. So I will be starting to shoot this channel off to the moon soon. I'm going to be putting in a lot of guides for new photographers, for people that might not be up to date on everything that's going on with Lightroom or shooting, or maybe you're just new to it and you want to start getting into it yourself. So feel free to follow along with me, JoshuaMcMullen.studio. Hit me up, message me anytime for anything, and I'll answer your questions. All right, guys, love you. Bye. Peace.